你好，大家好，我是阿勇，我是法国人。I learned the hard way that I cannot really confront their suggestions and opinions. We had a lot of conflict and they started to hate me pretty fast. It's it's endlessly deep. It's linked with nearly every other aspect of the culture. It may seem hypocritical or Taiwanese people make look like they are pushovers, but they still have their character and their opinions. And that's a balance that I am trying to find. And also not betraying my soul. It's often really ridiculous, let's say, so we're trying to steer away from this kind of cliches. That's all from movies.
Hi，大家好，欢迎来 Welcome to Taiwan。今天我们跑去到南港，跟我们法国朋友聊天。影片开始以前，请不要忘记订阅、按赞、开启小铃铛，谢谢大家。
My name is Ben and I'm French. I'm originally from a small city in the center west of France, near the Atlantic Ocean. But I've lived 2 years in Rennes, in the north, in Bretagne, Brittany, and 3 years in Bordeaux. Because of the football?
Yeah, because of
okay,
football.
Then you might know Marseille more.
I know Marseille, I know Marseille, PSG.
Right,
yeah.
right.
How long have you been in Taiwan?
It's my 9th year now, yes.
Why do you choose to come to Taiwan?
I started learning Chinese in high school, so I had an interest in Chinese language from early on. I, like many kids who enjoy mangas, I wanted to learn Japanese, and there was the beginning of the internet era, and I saw some Japanese classes online, and I started learning by myself. Not only grammar and boring stuff. My best friend also learned Japanese before, and then I was curious and started. And then when I got in high school there was no Japanese classes. There was only Chinese classes, but luckily there was Chinese classes. So I switched. I was like, okay, it's too bad, but I'm going to try, and I really loved it. I mean, the characters, the new grammar, that was very intriguing to me.
So would you compare learning French and learning Chinese?
Man, they're so different. There are stuff as each other. One has more inflection, the way the words change with grammar and everything, and Chinese doesn't have this kind of thing, but everything, all the grammar is through word order and particle that you add. So different difficulties, but in any language I think the main difficulty is vocabulary. So it's a mountain to climb in any case, and yeah. And then when I had the opportunity to do an internship during my master's, I picked Shanghai because I found a position there to do my internship. So I stayed in Shanghai for 6 months. My Chinese was really, really lacking. My Chinese skills were really bad at that time, but somebody told me if you want to learn more Chinese and want to stay in Asia also, you can try Taiwan. The people are great, sceneries are great, and they do speak Mandarin. And I remember my reaction at that time was like, oh, there's another country where Mandarin is the official language. Yeah, so that really, grabbed my attention, and the next opportunity I had to do an internship, then I picked NTHU, Jingda. So I stayed 6 months in Hsinchu, and I gotta say it's not the most exciting place, in Taiwan, but I really loved here, improvise every day. You want to go outdoors, for example. You wake up early in the morning. You're like, which bus can I take to go deep in the mountain, to the beach, the adventure. I had a glimpse of what Taiwan was, but I had the feeling that I had so much to discover yet that I wanted to know more. It was an instinct more than a rational decision. And I had such a pleasant experience here. The people towards foreigners tend to be very welcoming, and also very curious. So it makes you feel a little bit special, I think, unconsciously. I guess it's reinforcing your desire to live in this kind of place. Yeah, you get noticed, but in a good way.
Is that different in Shanghai or in France?
In China, at the time I was there, you get noticed a lot, but usually they take a picture of you, and then they leave. They don't really chat with you. Here, the interactions are very different. So for us, I think the default setting is that this person is French, whether they are Black, Asian, Arab, whatever, ethnicity they're from. We would expect them to be French, to speak French.
What do you find most challenging that you've overcome or yet to overcome in Taiwan?
In this Society in general, I haven't encountered any specific challenges, I think. Everything is pretty straightforward for me so far, maybe because I was a student for most of my time here, but I did struggle the most with interpersonal relationships with my advisors, with my PhD advisors. So my PhD wasn't that smooth. There were many obstacles, and I ended up very tired of this whole ordeal. Sometimes, hierarchy can be pretty rigid. So the relationship between the bosses and the employees, or in my case, thesis advisors and the students. And it turned out that my advisors and my personalities were pretty different. I learned the hard way that I cannot really confront their suggestions and opinions straightforwardly. So we had a lot of conflict, and they started to hate me pretty fast because of me being too blunt when discussing ideas, right? It's definitely my problem for being too straightforward people. Like observing all the Taiwanese people, I could see how they were dealing with that. So they would listen to their professors and say, how, yeah, good, good idea. And then you don't know if they're gonna do what the professor says or not, but at least the conversation goes smoothly. When I learned to do that, then I tried it, and I went to a meeting with one of my PhD advisors, and I decided to prepare myself to say just how all the way, no counter argument, nothing. And the meeting was twice as short as usual. And at the end, the advisor gave me a big smile and say, "Okay, see you next time, Bain, bye-bye." And I was like, whoa, this is the best it ever happened. I have to find a way to balance between smoothing these kind of conversations and also not betraying my soul and keeping everything in me, not accepting every stupid ideas other people can have, because sometimes, I have stupid ideas, you have stupid ideas, we have to, confront, right? And that's a balance that I am trying to find. The thing that most impacted my life, I think, was not having to cook, wash the dishes, and buy the groceries. Like live a king's life for 3 years. Always cook for ourselves. Nobody goes to the restaurants like on random weekdays evenings. Like a standard pasta dish would be 10 euros, and for a student that's no. So we do like cook, random Italian pastas and steaks and stuff all the time.
Other than studying, what else do you do here in Taiwan?
For now, I'm working as a French teacher, so I'm giving online French lessons to Taiwanese people.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone who wants to learn Niao Shui Fa Guo Wen, just contact. His links will be in the description below.
Oh my God, my schedule is a little bit full right now, but, but thank you. So the second time I came here, I got in contact with people who were learning Tai Chi Chuan, and calligraphy, because there were calligraphy classes in Sinica, the place I've done my studies in. So I've practiced Tai Chi for 2 years, because in Taipei there's some groups that practice outdoors. Some of them huge, and they're really pushing themselves. That's not like only the slow movements, and that seems very boring. Some of them are really going for it, and there's a lot of teachers and coach to help you out, and it teaches you things about your body that will influence your day-to-day life, and really change the way you approach things about your position and all. So that was very interesting. And it's also, as I said, free, so it was really very interesting to experience. I'll definitely do that again later. The second thing, and probably the deepest form of art I've ever gotten in contact to, is Chinese calligraphy. This is endlessly fascinating. When you look at a calligraphy, it's not only like nice strokes. If you practiced for some time and you see a character, you can imagine. The characters will dance in your brain. There's a difference in rhythm. The intent of the artist you will feel that. So it's like some kind of dance or kind of a movie. You can drag the cursor back and forth, and you feel the time, the flow, and you can also step back and zoom in, and you see the whole composition in itself, and then it's like an orchestra, a symphonic orchestra, and you have the whole bunch of sounds coming all together, like the whole movie in one shot to your face. And so you have this kind of difference in layers the whole stuff, the character level, every stroke can be analyzed, and it's so deep. And behind that, there's another layer, because you cannot study
Wow.
calligraphy without learning about history, poetry, maybe philosophy. You know, all these sentences, the content of the artwork. There are like poems or maybe sentences from the Tao Te Ching, or Confucius or whatever. So it makes you learn about so much of the culture. It's incredibly, it's endlessly deep. It's linked with nearly every other aspect of the culture. It's weird. It's an abstract form of art. You know, it's not representing houses or people, anything. It's abstract, but it means something, and you can read it. Do you know of any other form of art that you can read and has a literal meaning? And so the meaning can be about tea, and you can learn about tea ceremony through calligraphy. It can be about katanas, if you like Japanese calligraphy. It's infinite. Yeah.
You can speak Chinese. Is there any other local language that you can speak?
I have learned Taiwanese.
Taiyu?
Yeah, Taiyu. I've learned Taiyu for quite a while.
How do you introduce yourself in Taiyu?
你好，大家好，我是阿勇，我是法國人。
Wow, I need to learn these few phrases myself. I don't know what
Oh,
it's
there's
called.
many tribes. Officially 16. The biggest one is Ame too. So Amis, and the language is Amis language.
Can you speak any of that?
I've learned a little bit, a few words. The grammar is really complicated. It's hard to get into, but it's very interesting.
Wow, wow, you are very interested. So you've traveled around Taiwan.
Pretty much, yes. But mostly north and northeast, because it's closer to here.
If you had to choose one place in Taiwan to live and settle, where would you go?
Hualien.
Hualien.
Yeah, the East Coast, wherever in the East Coast would suit me. For work, it doesn't work, but for living, yeah.
Why? What do you mean for living?
The quiet, the nature, the rivers, the mountains, the sea, the quality of life over there.
What part of Taiwanese culture do you find most interesting?
I always have the feeling that people in one culture are more different than the difference between the cultures. You know, like the individual differences are so huge. But in general, I feel like here people hold back more their opinions when they have divergent opinions, or when they feel like they're going to enter in conflict. They tend to not throw all their thoughts in your face, and they try to smooth things over. I think that for me that's pretty clear. There's a difference between French people and Taiwanese people. It may seem hypocritical, or Taiwanese people make look like they are pushovers, but they still have their character and their opinions. It makes things more agreeable for me, more comfortable, I would say. The complaint culture in France is a little bit tiring sometimes, and here yeah, I feel it feels more carefree sometimes. Outside, usually people tend to be very accommodating. I think that people are a little bit gueguetutu. They try to stick to the rules and conventions. I don't know if it's a stereotype or if it's really more like that than in France, but every time I want to get around these SOPs, usually interacting with people will work out. People are very helpful, and they really will go out of the way to help you out. Like a few weeks back, I was renewing my health insurance, and they told me they would send me the paper, the new card or whatever, a month after, and I asked them, when can I know when it's really updated? And the clerk told me, give me your email, and I'm gonna send you a mail when it's done, a personal mail. And she really did that. She sent me a personal mail, but it's a governmental institution. It would never happen in France.
Yeah, no. What part of French culture would you like to introduce to Taiwanese?
French people tend to find any opportunities they have to picnic in the park, maybe eat outdoors at somebody's place on a balcony, like way more often than people do it here. You know, like there's the traditional Kaorou for Zhongqiuqie in the street that some people do, but that's pretty specific. And in France, people usually enjoy the last rays of sun in summer until 10 p.m.
There's this common notion that French people are very romantic.
Yeah.
Is that the case?
Not at all. That's the opposite. French people sometimes make make a show, make a point of being anti-romantic for being blunt and rude and everything, just for fun. Romantic dinners and all for French people, it's often really ridiculous. Let's say, So we're trying to steer away from this kind of cliches. That's all from movies.
If you are to change anything in Taiwan, what would it be?
Electric scooters, more of them.
More.
Yeah, this is the scooter kingdom here, and I don't know. It feels like the trend of electrification of transportation is a little bit slow. I don't know if it can be hurried up or not. I'm not an expert in that, but I feel like if we can avoid, like when you stop at a traffic light, having while riding a scooter, if you can avoid having 3 exhaust pipes sending off fumes in your face, that would be nice. And also it's better for everybody, for the pollution. Sidewalks, more sidewalks, of course.
Do you have anything else to tell Taiwanese people?
Cherish your culture and your traditions. These are, roots that dig really deep, and it's hard to appreciate how important and how valuable they are. So there's a lot of efforts in revitalization, however that's pronounced, for languages, Aboriginal dances, art, and everything. And I think it's really worth doing. Another thing is there's a lot to be grateful for here in this society. So if Taiwanese people are not grateful for what they have, maybe they can try interacting more with foreigners, going to France, for example, to compare, going to less developed countries, and that might open their eyes.
All right. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to share your wisdom, and hope you continue to progress here in Taiwan.
Sure, cheers. Good luck with your channel.
Thank you. 谢谢大家 Thank you very much for watching. 感谢你所看。如果你有喜欢我们影片，请不要忘记订阅、按赞、开启小铃铛。谢谢大家。
感谢大家。
See you in my next video.